Watch the vision.
Yes. This is your boy DJ Roscoe Boards, and you're now tuned in to Watch the Vision Radio, episode 16, season 2. This is the live series, and today we got a special guest in the building. He's a mentor of mine. He's a frat brother of mine. He's the founder of Mosaic Management and Consulting. He's also an editor for the Gentleman's Blog, a 3-time alumni at the University of Arkansas. He's also the host of the Talented 10th podcast. We have no other than Brother Brenden Sherrer. What's up, Brenden?
What's up, Bodie?
Man, welcome to the podcast, man. And just today, I wanted just to talk about the current climate of the social climate in the world today. And I think there was no other person that needed to talk to than to you yourself. And so we're just going to sit down and listen to the mix and get into this highly needed conversation today in our community. You're now tuned to Watch the Vision Radio. Let's get it.
With all due respect, I don't have pity for you black niggas. That's the way I feel. Screaming Black Lives Matter, all the black guys rather be deadbeats than pay your bills. Yelling nigga this and nigga that. Call everybody nigga and get a nigga mad. As soon as I say nigga, then everyone react and wanna swing at me and call me racist cause I ain't black. Well, pound that then. Talking about slavery like you was around back then. Like you was picking cotton off the fucking ground back then. Like you was on the plantation getting down back then. Alright, look. I see a black man aiming his gun, but I'd rather see a black man claiming his son. And I don't mean just for one day and you done. I mean, you still trapped in a rut. And I work my ass off and pay my taxes for what? So you can keep living on free government assistance, food stamps for your children, but you still tryna sell them for some weed and some liquor or a fucking babysitter while you party on the road cause you ain't got no fucking goals? You already late. You motherfuckers need to get your damn priorities straight. Wait. It's like you proud to be fake, but you lazy as fuck. And you rather sell drugs and get a job and be straight. And then you turn around and complain about the poverty rate. Fuck out of my face. You can't escape problems. You can pray for some change, but can't break a dollar. Got nobody else to blame, so you blame Donald. They fucked the world with a Make America Great condom. My voice been back. I'm not racist. My sister's boyfriend's black. I'm not racist. My sister-in-law's baby cousin Tracy got a brother and his girlfriend's black. My head's in the cloud. Heard there's not enough jobs for all the men in your house. Maybe we should build a wall to keep the Mexicans out. Or maybe we should send them all to the ghetto for now. I'm not racist. And I never lied, but I think there's a disconnect between your culture and mine. I worship the Einsteins, study the Steve Jobs, but you ride Tupac's dick like he was a fucking god, oh my god. And all you care about is rapping and stunting and being ratchet, and that's the nigga within you. Music rot in your brain and slowly start to convince you. Then you let your kids listen and then the cycle continues. Blame it all on the menu, blame it on those drinks, blame it on everybody except for your own race. Blame it on white privileges, blame it on white kids, and just blame it on white citizens. Aim at the vice president. Bunch of class clowns. Niggas kneeling on the field, that's a flag down. How dare you try to make demands for this money? You gon' show us some respect, you gon' stand for this country, nigga. I'm not racist. I'm just prepared for this type of war. I heard Eminem's rap at the awards. Who's he fighting for? Y'all can take that motherfucker too, he ain't white no more. It's like you wanna be so famous. You'll do anything for attention and a little payment. I can't take you nowhere without people pointing fingers. Pants hanging off your ass, you ain't got no home training. Put your fucking pants up, nigga. Put that suit back on. Take that do-rag off. Take that gold out your mouth. Quit the pitiful stuff. And then maybe police and stop killing you fuck. So what the fuck? I'm not racist. It's like we're living in the same building but split into 2 floors. I'm not racist. But there's 2 sides to every story. I wish that I knew yours. I wish that I knew yours. Not racist.
I just got off of work, officer. I just got off of work, officer. Grew up in church, officer. Loosen the cuffs for me, that shit kinda hurt, officer. No questioning all, you put my face in the dirt, officer. Why I feel like death and like I'm about to get murked, officer. I ain't packing nothing, told that shit to the first officer. You stopping me cause you enjoying the perks, officer. Please let me go, my baby about to get birth, officer. Now you got your foot on my back and your heat on my head. Spit in my face, that's worse than putting feet on my bed. All for a quota, look how your people treat me for bread. Innocent man, so you shoot me and leave me for dead. Damn, mama watching the news, it got her dumb crying. Nigga bleeding out on the ground, she see her son dying. It's only one Ryan, she know that and she need me here. So be a soldier for real and just don't leave me here. That's how you gon' act, boy. Wish I had my strap, boy. Wish I knew that y'all be blacking out, cause I'm a black boy. Black skin rapping for the blacks, you calling that noise? Point the gun at my head and then you tell me act, boys. Come to my hood and watch you niggas get drowned. This how I feel when white cops go tell a nigga get down. So get down, nigga, lay down and stay down, nigga. And keep your hands behind your back or I'ma spray round, nigga. Pulled over so much you gotta catch the greyhound, nigga. Your hands up, you blink wrong, it's gonna be mayhem, nigga. Facts, your gun out and you shooting cause I scared you. Well, if you get to shoot cause you scared, nigga, I'm scared too. Why we can't be equal, homie? Why my movie can't be long enough to see the sequel, homie? You ain't like the Reaper, homie. Why I can't stand in the street just for my people, homie? Yo, injecting us with poison and that shit is lethal, homie. Damn, it's like how I'm supposed to love y'all when all you do is act like no one is above y'all. And now I'm feeling like, how much do that love cost? Instead of real love, it really feel like love lost. I die for my freedom, let's get real for it. It's what it's like when you black and you get killed for it.
Why do you have to lose? You're living in poverty. Your schools are no good. You have no jobs. 58% of your youth is unemployed. What the hell do you have to lose?
Yes, we're now back with Watch the Vision Radio. And so, Brenden, I just want to question, like, what are the next steps we, as a culture, really as the world, should we take? Because right now we have the protests going on, and the protests are going on every day, and I salute everybody who's out there at the protests. If you have one near your city, you should attend it. But what are next steps? What are like our short-term goals, long-term goals? What should we do to move this Black Lives Matter movement forward?
So, great question. The easy answer is that question can't be answered, right? And what I mean by that is it's so multifaceted. I'll take it here first. Number one, we have to understand where the power lies in the grievances we have. A lot of times we're talking about local police, maybe state police, but we focus our energy at the federal level. It's your mayor's races who choose, in most respects, chooses who your chief of police is. It's the change in those certain standards within those departments and all that. The feds can't necessarily make local police departments do anything. Now, under the Obama administration, you had things like consent decrees, and the Justice Department could come in and do reviews and take control if necessary, if there's been certain civil rights violations documented over time. But a lot of people have said, well, what did Obama do? I contend that he didn't do everything he could, but he used a lot of the power he actually has to go into these local areas, but it's limited. The federal government can't just take control. So it's understanding where the power actually lies and where the change actually needs to happen, so you're not channeling, let's just say, 80% of your energy and efforts and strategy at a level that only is going to be able to help 20% of the problem.
So then how do we move that forward? So how do we we need a mayor that's for everybody, that's not racist? Or
well, one thing I've said is I think we need to have first thing, we need to reinvigorate national organizations and their state and local chapters.
What do you mean by that? Just explain for the audience, even for me, because I don't even know.
So, organizations like the NAACP and organizations like it, whether it's the Urban League, whether it's other community organizations, their ability to organize at a grassroots level in the 60s was critical. And it wasn't mandated from the top down. And right now we have very active NAACP chapters, but it seems that it's a little bit more disjointed, and it's not necessarily across the board, and it never has been. But I think we have to rebuild those levels of community organizing so that you can actually mobilize around a central message that is tailored to those specific communities that they're in. So that's number one. And then that way you can maintain pressure, and you can also maintain pressure at the local level, which actually gets you more done because they don't have national apparatuses to protect them.
Okay.
Some other things is we really need to institute some very common sense reforms to local law enforcement, and I think we need to re-examine police unions. I'm a person who sees value in unions, but also am aware that they can have too much power and be a bureaucratic entity in and of itself that enables bad behavior and is really tasked with limiting the amount of accountability as opposed to protecting workers' rights. So that's another element. But I think we need to look at who are we allowing to be police? What is their background?
But then how does one say, okay, I've seen your background, but you can never actually truly know someone, you know what I mean? And
So I'm not saying do the impossible, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we all have background check, or at least I've had multiple background checks.
True.
I have had character and fitness tests. I've had, colleges where you had to write about your upbringing, and you can verify that. I mean, a lot. It's not. No one is saying ensure that someone is not bad forever, but there's certain character assessments that you can see. Well, should this person be in that position of authority? So that's one element, those character and fitness background checks or tests, so to speak. Another thing is like, what are the requirements educationally, academically, right? And I'm not a person who believes in the ivory tower that if you have, despite my extensive education, I don't believe that it makes me better than anybody. But as someone who did go to law school, I know the strenuous nature of interpreting law and in especially in the heat of situations. And so if you can't, because people forget the police are the front lines of interpreting statutes and laws and the things that we normally interface with police on. And so it's a very tough thing to interpret. Use of force standards and reasonableness and color of law and all these different things that are actually instituted to either protect citizens or protect police officers. It's not simple. And so
it's not simple at all.
And it will never be. So when I say academic tests or requirements, I'm not saying be elitist. But what I'm saying is there needs to be a minimum standard, because what you're doing is highly complex, and it's not as simple as stopping someone and writing a ticket. That's not where these problems take place.
True.
And with character and fitness, and also your ability to interpret and kind of your intellectual capacity, is your temperament. You and I know we are friends with people who are just flat out hotheads.
Yeah, just on one every day.
Yeah, they're hotheads. They're great people. But when they get in a highly stressed situation, they don't respond very well. And we also know people who seem to be calmer when the stakes get higher and the stress increases. So we know how to do some of these things. I don't think police should investigate themselves. I think there should be independent review boards.
So then how do we as the community, how do we change that then? How do we say, okay, because this is things that everybody knows that is happening. Like the police commissioner would be friends with those who, the judge or whatever, so they won't even get in trouble, or They're investigating their friends' cases,
yeah,
et cetera.
So high ethical standards, which you see in the legal profession, needs to cascade down into all law enforcement. And that's not to say that policemen are all unethical, but it's just to say that I'm telling you, man, it is preached to us from the moment we walk in the door of a law school, the importance of high ethical standards. And it also hurts. I know those who are practicing attorneys, which I am not. It hurts to see the legal profession looked at as low and shady and all the things that the legal community isn't at writ large. I mean, there's bad apples everywhere. We hear that bad apple term all the time. But there's a high ethical standard and there's a high commitment to the fabric of the Constitution and rights that if you make it through the other side of that, you know. You may ignore it, but you know it. And I don't even think we try and enforce it at all levels of law enforcement. So that's important too. But how do you do it? I just caution the question because the how is not universal.
And you mean the how as in the means doing it? Everybody has a different, means doing it.
A more gentle approach may work when you have someone willing in office. And actually vilifying them is counterproductive to the actual change you seek. You may live in a community where someone is antithetical to what you're trying to do, the opposite of it. And you may need to invoke a lot more pressure and a lot more demand. So I caution myself in giving advice on that. It's just really about the people on the ground having awareness of what it's going to take and developing the ability to understand what strategy and tactical steps need to be implemented to actually reach the change, and relying on the wisdom of those who have been there, but also being able to fine-tune those instincts for high character so you can have people you can trust in those rooms, because there's a level of trust that has to be there, otherwise it won't be delivered. So it's really demanding kind of uniform standards. We know the framework that needs to be in place, and just demanding an answer on agreement or disagreement on these logical, simple steps. And if someone tells you no to what you see as logical and simple and rational, then you know where they stand.
You are now tuned into
Watch the Vision Radio.
Not to capitulate to terrorist demands, that no concessions policy remains in force. In spite of the wildly speculative and false stories about arms for hostages and alleged ransom payments, we did not, repeat, did not trade weapons or anything else for hostages, nor will we.
The ballad of the bullet, some freedom or some bullshit. Will we ever do it big or just keep settling for little shit? We brag on having bread, but none of us are bakers. We all talk having greens, but none of us own acres. If none of us own acres and none of us grow wheat, then who will feed our people when our people need to eat? So it seems our people starve from lack of understanding, cause all we seem to give them is some ballin' and some dancing, and some talking about our car and imaginary mansions. We should be indicted for bullshit we inciting, telling children death and pretending it's exciting. We are advertisements for agony and pain. We exploit the youth, we tell them to join the gang. We tell them dope stories, introduce them to the game. Just like Oliver North introduced us to cocaine in the 80s when them bricks came on military plane.
A few months ago, I told you I did not trade arms for hostages. My heart.
What's free? Free is when nobody else can tell us what to be. Free is when the TV ain't controlling what we see. Told my niggas I need you. Through all the fame, you know I stay true. Pray my niggas stay free. Made a few mistakes, but this ain't where I wanna be. Before I'm judged by 12, put a 12 on my feet. Told my niggas I need you. Stay up, I know these times ain't true. Real life was
just
free.
Just a lad I was cunning, just got a pad out in London. I keep stacking my money, I need a ladder by summer. 8K shots, niggas ducking straight shots. Been a top dog, that's before the K dots. Cracking in 06, immaculate showmanship. Talking like you Mitch, disastrous on the strip. Holding on your bitch could've never sold you a brick. With them people you never been on a list. Mona Lisa to me ain't nothing but a bitch. Hanging pictures like niggas swinging from his dick. We so different you thought these didn't exist. The megalodon never seen on his wrist. I'm from the south where they never make it this rich. God is the greatest, but Satan been on his shit. Walking the pavement, I pray I'm illuminated. Over a decade and never nobody's favorite. Pot and kilo go hand in hand like we gamble and huff. My amigo 1,000,000 grams when we count them and up. You was dead broke, I let you hold it back. You paid for it, but I fuck around and stole the track. Screaming gang, gang, now you wanna rap. Racketeering charges, caught them on the tap. Looking for a bond, lawyers want a tax. Purple hair, got them faggots on your back.
What's free? Free is when nobody else can tell us what to be. Free is when the TV ain't controlling what we see. Told my niggas I need you. Through all the fame, you know I stay true. Pray my niggas stay free. Made a few mistakes, but this ain't where I wanna be. Before I'm judged by 12, put a 12 on my feet. Told my niggas I need you. Stay up, I know these times ain't true. Real life was free. Fed investigations, heard they plotting like I trapped. 20 million cash, they know I got that off a rap. Maybe it's the Michael Rubens or the Robert Krafts or the billionaire from Marcy in the way they got my back. See how I prevailed and now they try to knock me back. Lock me in a cell for all them nights and I won't snap. 250 a show and they still think I'm selling crack. When you bring my name up to the judge, just tell them facts. Tell them how we funding all these kids to go to college. Tell them how we ceasing all these wars, stopping violence. Trying to fix the system in the way that they designed it. I think they want me silenced.
Hey guys, I'm Kim, and you are now tuned in to DJ Roscoe Bodez.
Bruh.
Copping out the bag of smoke today. Copping out the bag of smoke today. Copping out the bag of smoke today. Copping out the bag of smoke today.
Nigga feel nigga.
Bag of smoke today. Copping out the bag of smoke today. Copping out the bag of smoke today. Copping out the bag of smoke today.
I got thoughts, can't control. Got me down, got me low. Rest my mind, rest my soul. When I blow, am I wrong? Let me know. Feels so right to let things go. Don't think twice, this is me. This is how I should be.
But I'm aggravated without it. My saddest days are without it. My Saturdays are the loudest. I'm blowing strong. Some niggas graduated to powder. I dabbled later, I doubt it. My database of narcotics is growing long. But I'm aggravated without it. My saddest days are without it. My Saturdays are the loudest. I'm blowing strong. Some niggas graduated to powder. I dabbled later, I doubt it. My database of narcotics is growing long. I wrote this shit to talk about the word addiction. To my niggas, I'm red, I hope you're listening. They mad like acting, I hope you're listening. This is for the whole fucking Ville, I hope you're listening. Smoking medical grade, but I ain't got prescription. All the way in Cali where they ain't got precipitation. Feeling like the only one that made it, and I hate it for my niggas cause they ain't got ambition. What did you expect? You can blame it on condition. Blame it on crack, you can blame it on the system. Blame it on the fact that 12 got jurisdiction to ride around in neighborhoods that they ain't never lived in. Blame it on the strain that you feel when daddy missing. Blame it on Trump shit, blame it on Clinton. Blame it on trap music and the politicians. Or the fact that every black boy wanna be Pippin, but they only got 12 slots on the Pistons. Blame it on the rain, Milli Vanilli with the disc skip. What I'm trying to say is the plane can go deep as seas. Just to blame them all, I would need like 20 CDs. There's all sorts of trauma from drama that children see. Type of shit that normally would call for therapy. But you know just how it go in our community. Keep that shit inside, it don't matter how hard it be. Fast forward, them kids is grown and they blowing trees and popping pills due to chronic anxiety. I've been saw the problem, but stay silent cause I ain't Jesus. This ain't no trial, if you desire, go higher please. But fuck that, now I'm older, I love you cause you my friend. Without the drugs, I want you to be comfortable in your skin. I know you, so I know you still keep a lot of shit in. You running from yourself and you buying product again. I know you say it helps and no, I'm not trying to offend, but I know depression and drug addiction don't blend. Reality distorts and then you get lost in the wind. And I done seen the combo take niggas off the deep end. One thing about you is they bound to catch up with that.
He gave me a look as if he didn't know. I had my basketball and my laminators, and get along with my neighbors. I was a rough kid. Hearing sirens through my window, them blue and red lights kept me up at night. I couldn't get enough of life. I seen this kid get arrested in the park. He was screaming he ain't do it, they ain't even let him talk. I ain't understand, I'm like 10, blowing in the wind, trying to find a park to go play. I don't know the drama. I asked my mama, what do police do? She told me stay about their way, go to school and get good grades. One day I'm walking in my building and they stopped me. Told me I look just like this kid that did a robbery. And I ain't never stole nothing in my life. Maybe candy out the store or a bag of chips. Imagine this, years go by, I got a little older. My best friends in group homes, I got a little colder. I'm trying to make the varsity team, chill with Stacy and shop at the mall. Only Ralph Lauren to lace me in. I had the Montclair, remember begging moms for it. Walking home from school, I almost got robbed for it. I took off, I can't go home without my jacket on. Blue and white's harassing me, but I don't know what happened to them. Left and right, I'm seeing homies get interrogated. We ain't safe where we live, this America, ain't it? High school, they teaching me this the land of the free. But everything got a price, they don't answer to me, they answer to me.
No changes. Wake up in the morning and I ask myself, is life worth living? Should I blast myself? I'm tired of being poor and even worse, I'm black. My stomach hurts, so I'm looking for a purse to snatch. Cops give a damn about a Negro. Pull a trigger, kill a nigga, he's a hero. Get it back to the kids, who the hell cares? One less hungry mouth on the welfare. First ship them, don't let them deal with brothers. Give them guns, step back, watch them kill each other. It's time to fight back, that's what Huey said. 2 shots in the dark, now Huey's dead. I got love for my brothers, but we can never go nowhere unless we share with each other. We gotta start making changes. Learn to see me as a brother instead of 2 distant strangers. And that's how it's supposed to be. How can the devil take a brother if he's close to me? I let it go back to when we played as kids, but then it changed. That's the way it is. Come on, come on.
That's just the way it is. Things will never be the same. That's just the way it is. Oh, yeah.
Yes, we back here on Watch the Vision Radio. And me and my man Brenden, man, we are big sports fanatics, man. And so I'm a New Orleans Saints fan, man. I've been a New Orleans Saints fan ever since Reggie Bush. He was actually the reason I started watching football. And man, I saw the comments from my man Drew Brees, what he said about the flag and the kneeling and all that. I also saw his apologies. He sent 2 apologies and he responded to Donald Trump. So I just want to know, Brenden, what were your reactions? First, what are your thoughts when you saw Drew Brees' comments, knowing that he is from New Orleans, he's been there for over 10 years. He should know better, especially with the climate, what's going on in the world today. So I just want to know, like, what are your thoughts on what he said first, and then your thoughts on his apology, air quotes.
Yeah. So first, we should know better, not to assume that he should know better. That's
true.
That's number one. I mean, we give certain people too much credit
He's from New Orleans, Brenden. Come on.
Yeah, well, if you think everybody in New Orleans understands.
But I guess.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, that doesn't guarantee anything. But it was revealing. I was actually happy to see what he said because it was revealing. It reveals that like everybody doesn't put energy in towards understanding. Like a lot of people just take messaging and they just parrot it. They just repeat it. They haven't thought about it critically at all. It's no different than this morning Ben Carson saying what he said about if athletes just said they loved America and loved the flag, and then filled in their grievances, then there wouldn't be an issue. And it's like, dude, that's what they've done. But if you've been told that they haven't, what you watch hasn't shown that they've specifically said what their actual grievances is, and that the very kneeling was in consultation with military or service members as what is the happy medium to do this versus sitting on the bench in the back like he did initially, you would know that it wasn't meant to disrespect anyone. But if you don't want to hear it, then you're not going to hear it. And what it revealed to me is how, in the midst of all that in the NFL, how deeply consistent, though erroneous, messages can just be sucked into the mind of those who don't care and just spit back out in an amplified manner. And that's what he did all these years later. In the midst of all this, he just parroted what was said in the beginning, and it just showed how little thought he put on the whole issue and how macho it is. I mean, it's a race to see who's the most patriotic. And there's a lot of people who feel like they have a monopoly on patriotism, and so when Breeze said it, I was like, this will be good. This will be good to show how ignorant a lot of people are.
And everybody who with you say they with you ain't with you.
They ain't with you. And then, people start talking about cancel culture. Look, if you were saying people have a right to an opinion, which Drew Brees does, and others do.
True.
Just because people don't lay silent when that opinion is put out there doesn't mean that they're trying to stop your free speech. They're just answering your speech with speech of their own, and they disagree. It doesn't mean you can't have an opinion. They just don't agree with yours, and their opinion is your opinion sucks. So that's their opinion, just like you stated yours. It's not a curtailing of the First Amendment. It's the beauty of it, to be honest with you. So that's my thoughts on Breeze. I don't give people too much credit, man.
So 3 years later, man, I just watched last night. Our frat brother, shout out to Colin Kaepernick, man. He's been trashed for the past almost 4 years for taking his initial knee. Yep. And I just watched last night the commissioner of the NFL. He said he'd never mentioned his name in the whole speech or whatever that he gave, but he did mention that they were wrong for not listening to their African American athletes, and that Black lives does matter. But I mean, so what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the whole situation?
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Why don't you think it matters? Did he just do
no?
That to
I said
save
it
face?
Doesn't matter to me. It matters. They did it. It does matter. But it doesn't matter to me.
But why not though? I think that's
because it's not counterproductive. I put it that way. I wouldn't put powerful behind it because, we've been using this analogy a lot with certain current elected officials. If you're an arsonist and you burn a building, you set a building on fire, you don't get credit because after that you go grab a water hose.
True.
So, you participated in the amplification of misinformation against Colin Kaepernick for years. You're one of the biggest sports leagues in the entire world, the biggest one in the entire United States of America, and there's a large group of your people who believe the misinformation about what Colin Kaepernick was doing. And so cutting a video in your basement to say that you made a mistake and that Black lives do matter, as if we needed to be told that anyway, just because the climate right now makes it safe to do it. See, the climate is safe. It's in vogue to support Black people right now. And I don't want that to stop. But you don't get credit for, now that you have the cover to be Black positive, that I'm going to label what you're doing as powerful or something that's thought-provoking, or I'm not going to give you too much credit, because the only reason why you feel the only reason why you've come out and did that is because you see that the climate is secure. It's secure. And you couldn't let what symbolically, I mean, the symbolism of George Floyd dying with a knee on his neck, and all of these people all around the country saying enough is enough, and how young those people are, which means they're going to be your future fans for the next 20, 30 years. You couldn't sit back and be silent on it. And so, yeah, I mean, kudos, better late than never, but never late is better. So whatever.
So, okay. So now we're just going to stay on sports in general. And I see, so a lot of our top athletes, just a lot of top Black athletes, they go to more of the powerful schools, and you know, to each his own. They go to basketball-wise, they go to the Dukes and the Kentuckys and the Gonzagas and stuff like that. Footballs, they go to the Alabamas and so forth and so forth. So why haven't we really seen just a more support from those who are in higher power that recruit so much of our young Black men to these institutions? And then, side question from that, do you think it will be an important shift into now trying to recruit these athletes to HBCU schools? I see in the Mikey Williams, I don't know if you know him, the number one kid. Yeah, he's pretty big on YouTube. He said he's thinking about going HBCU, but he'll probably go to the NBA.
Let's be clear, he's not going to college.
Yeah, I was just going to say, he's probably going to the NBA. But how do you think the impact on that will affect the culture as well?
Well, there's a couple of things. So the first question was about kind of the lack of forceful stances by schools and coaches at those schools. They're scared. They don't know. They don't know how this stuff is going to play out.
But how do you be? So then, how do you?
I'm not excusing it, but that's why. I mean, you want to know why? That's why they're worried about the reaction, and a lot of them aren't professional PR people. I mean, look at Dabo Sweeney right now.
Yeah, he's getting.
He can't. Everything he says right now is wrong, rightfully. I mean, and now former players are coming back and trying to hold you accountable, make sure you're not lying. You see Mike Norvell down in Florida State saying he talked to every player individually, lying. Like, there are people who are scared. They don't, because right now, folks are like, we ain't taking none of this BS anymore.
They canceling people.
Yeah, like, right. We've known you. This has been you know, certain people have been charlatans for a while, but we just didn't care. No, right now we are laser focused on purging that gene in ourselves that says, just let it go. I mean, they don't know any better. No, we're gonna make sure you learn now.
Yeah, you're gonna learn today.
So that's on that, and I would hope that more coaches speak out. But those John Cheneys in basketball, those John Cheneys, Nolan Richardsons, Big John Thompsons, they're not. We don't have those right now in college sports. There's no giants of Black coaching like that, like you saw in the 80s and 90s. Where Coach Richardson, I mean, who I know personally, I mean, he was going to say whatever he wanted to say. mean, you can fire me.
That's what got him out of here.
Yeah, you can fire me or not. I mean, I'm a live.
What do you believe in?
With what I believe in. And John Thompson and John Chaney for certain were the same way. They weren't taking mess off of anybody. So those people aren't necessarily there right now, but it is tough. I do know some have said things. I know Steve Prohm at Iowa State was a GA at Alabama, coached at Murray State in Kentucky. He said something early. One of the earlier college coaches that said something, and then you saw. I'm not saying that he started the response engine, but you saw people. You know, it takes the first ones to say something for certain people to feel comfortable, and hopefully they're more forceful in it, because we know college athletics is not as diverse as it needs to be, and quite frankly, man, if I can find my Race in the Law legal research and writing paper, it was on the Ed O'Bannon case and kind of the makeup of college sports, both at the administration level and at the coaching level, and the disparities and the pathetic nature of it. I need to pull that out and post it online. But as it relates to HBCUs, I mean, I'm okay with the threat. I like what he's done. I don't think he's going to an HBCU. It wouldn't be the worst thing if he did, but it's good because you get a lot of Division I schools who are worried that not only are people going to start going to, in basketball for instance, going to the NBDL immediately. What if those who are only going to play 1 year anyway starts going to HBCUs? And then the Division I schools are left not getting top talent and getting mid-tier talent. And they're worried about it. And so I think a lot of people who are coming out and saying the things they're saying, like a Calipari or something, they're worried about the model changing. And what happens if people do start going to NBDL or HBCUs? Okay, well, we need to make sure that we make it very clear that we're going to work towards equality both in athletic departments and at schools and use our power. And hopefully they do. So if anything, I think it's a good threat to the established order to hold them accountable and not allow lip service to carry the day like it normally does.
Carries the day, man. Man, this has been a good conversation, man. I didn't even want to go, man. But thank you for having me today, man, Brenden, man. It's been my pleasure just to be in your presence, man. So just tell the people.
Man, don't boost like that.
Just tell the people where they can just find you, man, where they can find you.
Man, go to bsherrer.com. Now I have the link to Spotify and Apple podcast right there on the homepage. But if you want to search, you can go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and search the Talented 10th Podcast and subscribe. I just have conversations, man. I don't try and be provocative. I just speak my mind, and we have various seasons, and I try and let people know my value set and my experiences, and bring my friendships and views on topics to the people in a very calm and thoughtful way. And
it's raw and cut, people.
Now, I'm not pulling punches on there, but I think you would enjoy it. I invite you to listen.
All right, man. Do you got an Instagram or anything they can check you out at?
Yeah, Bsherrer, BSHERRER. Just Bsherrer. Mosaic Gentleman's Blog on Facebook. Just find me.
Yeah, man, find me, man. And shouts out, man. This has been your boy DJ Roscoe Bowen's in the live series at Watch the Vision Radio. Thank you.
You are now booming with DJ Roscoe Bowen's and
DJ.
On my way to Bootsy Bella with hella the hoes. Try and think what I'ma tell them when they get alone. I'm a glutton for women I shouldn't yearn for. Shouldn't be tempted, but baby, I like to hurt. Or maybe cause I was searching, I found me the perfect person, but me and her didn't work out. She buried what you work for. and I carry the bitterness of a cola nut. Nigerian shit, my parents never showed much. Womanizer probably could have been a feminist, cause I respect them, but Lord, I got polygamy problems. The hoodie come from Bonnie's, spending money is therapeutic. The way the shit, they don't think that you care to buy, so we buying Prada, Balenciaga like it is nada. And the Ferrari, my favorite's God and tax problems. Pierre Moss, I dropped 10 on my last visit, and half that up in Saks. I favor black businesses. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yeah. Yeah. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yo, look. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Spent about 2 racks on handmade do rags. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. That's everybody from sports to college class to rap and back.
Stay alive and just stay peaceful. So hard to survive, but we're so lethal. Who would take a stand and be our hero? For my people, yeah, it's for my people. Trying to stay alive and just stay peaceful. So hard to survive, but we're so lethal. Take a stand and be our hero.
Now all heroes don't wear capes, and all villains don't get away. But all limits eventually fade. I don't wanna be good, I'm tryna be great. It's hard when your back's against the wall, and if you got it order, keep your feet up on the floor. So I thank the Lord when I wake up in the morning, cause through and from the word of every reason I was born. You can see the power when the mic is in my palm. When I storm across the room, hit the stage and perform. Word is born, don't be alone. Don't let me have to sound the horn and drop a bomb. Wanna get my mama crib, with it long. Something that my future kids could run up on. So I always do my best to carry on. Life is like a game of chess, to be a pawn, my
nigga. For my people, trying to stay alive and just stay peaceful. So hard to survive, but we're so lethal. Who would take a stand and be our hero? For my people, yeah, it's for my people. Trying to stay alive and just stay peaceful. So hard to survive, but we're so lethal. Who would take a stand and be our hero?
My intuition is telling me there'll be better days. I like this tone. Yeah. My intuition is telling me there'll be better days. I sit in silence and find whenever I meditate, my fears alleviate, my tears evaporate, my faith don't deviate, ideas don't have a date. But see, I'm growing and getting stronger with every breath, bringing me closer to heaven's doors with every step. As we speak, I'm at peace, no longer scared to die. Most niggas don't believe in God, and so they terrified. It's either that or they be fearing they gon' go to hell. Asking the Father for forgiveness got them overwhelmed. Please, God, I wanna go. As if he's spiteful, like them white folks that control the jail. See, I believe if God is really never judge a man, because he knows us all and therefore he would understand the ignorance to make a nigga take his brother's life, the bitterness and pain that got him beating on his wife. Like, I know you desperate for a change, let the wind glide, but the only real change come from inside. But the only real change come from inside. But the only real change come from inside. Cherries on chains, I see men cry. But the only you don't know who's swimming naked to the tide come in. The only real change come from inside.
Where your hoes at? Where your roads at? Where your backbone, nigga, where your code at? Where your down since day one, real bros at? Where them stories that you tellin' unfold at? Where your heart, nigga, where your soul at? We got old school ways, we expose that. Ain't no guarantees, but you know that. Niggas die every day, can't control that. Ken Griffey throwback, nigga had to go left. Musta popped 28 times cause it's 4 left. If it's about mine, ain't a nigga that I won't check. Run through your heart as homeboy, you could go next. 85 cut dog, hustle at the Rolex. Chain on my white tee, now you see the progress. Stacked every chip on myself, time to collect. All money in, just imagine what I gross back. Fuck where your hoes at, or where your roads at? Where your backbone, nigga, where your code at? Where your down since day one, real bros at? Where them stories that you tellin' unfold at? Where your heart, nigga, where your soul at? We got old school ways, we expose that. Ain't no guarantees, but you know that. Niggas die every day, can't control that.
That's why I call my thing the marathon, because I'm not gonna lie and portray this ultimate poise like I've had it figured out. Nah, I just didn't quit. That's the only distinguishing quality from me and probably whoever else going through this or went through this or is gonna go through this, is that I ain't quit. I went through every